Hello and welcome. I'm hoping that my internet stays cooperative with me today because I am definitely having some major internet problems. So let's hope this cooperates. Otherwise, I might as well have gone live on my phone, which I probably should have done now that I think about it. So I hope everybody had a very restful weekend. And I hope that we are all looking forward to an amazing, wonderful week. I know I am. And I can tell you that the way we enter our weeks is our choice, right? So I want you to really think about that. How did you wake up this morning? Did you wake up in dread? Did you wake up thinking to yourself, "Oh, I just don't want to do this today. It's Monday. It's the first day of the week and I got to go deal with this and deal with that," and just that absolute dread of what the week holds for you. If you did, then you probably need to hear what we are talking about today, and you probably need the workshop that I'm doing later on today that you can join us on Zoom on overwhelm. If you wake up every Monday morning, not just Monday, but every morning, just feeling completely overwhelmed, if you wake up Mondays wondering, is it Friday yet? Then you probably need a course correction. It's probably time for a major change in your life. So that is what we're talking about today is how to know when is it time to course correct and what actions can you take? Because I see so much overwhelm in the ECE community right now that it really isn't necessary. We choose, but a lot of us don't even realize how much of a choice we really get when it comes to our lives and how much control we do have over our circumstances. We often allow life to happen to us instead of making life happen for us. So, if you feel like life is just happening to you, then definitely lean in. Definitely join us today if you feel like your career as an early childhood education leader is happening to you. You need to be on our Overcoming Overwhelm series that is happening today. It is 100% free. It's 5 days long. It starts today, ends Friday, an hour every day. We will have the recordings in the Facebook groups for you to watch. So if you can't make it live, that is okay. Maybe one of my team members can put all the details for you so you can join us on Zoom. Um, I don't know. I was talking to my licensing rep a couple months ago, and she was telling me just about how much overwhelm she hears from directors and owners and how bad it's gotten post pandemic. And so that's why I decided I'm doing this free seminar on really just helping you not to be so overwhelmed. And by the way, if you're new to me, my name is Evelyn Knight. Obviously, it's on the screen. I'm the CEO and founder of Childcare Business Professionals, which is a company that helps owners and directors find success in business while keeping their sanity, right? And putting the children first, which the children are why we do this. And that shouldn't be so overwhelming, should it? But I do get it. Dealing with teams, dealing with everything is overwhelming. So, my question to you today is it time for a course correction? Maybe it's been time for a course correction for some time now. Maybe you've been stuck in a process that doesn't work for a long, long time, a process that is stealing your life, your joy, right? What when it's time for course correction, when it's time to really just take that leap and make a change, what are you doing? We have to really come to a point in our lives where we can admit to ourselves that we create our own misery. We choose to stay in it, right? There are certain things in life we can't create, we can't control. I understand that. I lost my husband a year ago. I had no control over that. I didn't choose that for my life, and I would never choose that, right? But how I choose to approach life after, how I choose to see things after is my choice. I could wallow for years and years and years and let it consume me and not live my own life. I was with my husband for almost 30 years, but I won't allow that for myself. That is my choice. How I approach dealing with the current workforce is my choice, right? The current workforce is hard to deal with right now. I know I have 20 employees right now. It's hard to deal with. dealing with just the mindset. But it's my choice how I approach it every day, how I let it consume me, how I hold on to it. And it's also my choice when it comes time for course correction. And I can tell you, as somebody who has been a successful childcare center owner for years now, that this never changes, you guys. It's never a one and done. You go through phases of life where complacency hits, right? And when we get to that place of complacency, things start falling to the side. Things just aren't taken care of. Think about your house. Okay. This is a great example with the complacency. You get your house spotless, right? You know how we get it so clean if we're having like a party or something's going on. I mean, that's when we get in and we clean the blinds and vacuum under couch cushions. I used to always wonder as a child why my mom did that. And I do it now too, but does anyone actually lift up somebody's couch cushions? But I mean, we do, right? Before somebody comes like a big party, we're vacuuming under the couch cushions. We're like I do this anyway, but moving furniture to sweep underneath the couch and all of those things. I mean, we do like everything all at once. Normally, I'll systematically do it. Like week 1 of the month, I might move all the furniture and sweep. Week 2 might be window cleaning. But before somebody comes over, everything is pristine and it's spotless, right? So now imagine that you look around your house and you think, well, it's clean. I don't need to do anything now. And you just stop. You stop cleaning. You stop declutterizing. You just let it be because you did it. You put it into place, right? You cleaned it. You did the thing. So it's done. I'm done now. Now, what would happen? Month goes by, 2 months go by, 5 years go by, and next thing you know, you're living in a hoarder's house, right? Pretty disgusting. Probably have mice and spiders and all sorts of fun things to deal with. And I can imagine if you haven't been decluttering, there's going to be stacks and stacks and stacks of stuff. And you probably, I've actually been inside a hoarder's house, a rental we once had. If the renter was there for years and always paid on time, never complained about anything. So we didn't realize they were a hoarder. And then when it was time for them to move out, oh my goodness, we got to deal with the hoarding. It was literally pathways through the house and boxes taller than me. And you're walking through the house through pathways of just garbage and boxes and stuff all the way around you. But that's what would happen if you clean your house, and it's just perfect and pristine. And then you decide, okay, I'm done. I don't need to do this anymore. I did it one time, never have to do it again. It's the same thing with our childcare centers. We put these things into place, right? We teach our staff things. We do what we need to do. You might teach, you might do the combination of coaching and teaching, which is what is effective. And then you're just like, sweet, I'm done. They're good now. I can leave them alone. And a couple years later, you look and you wonder, what happened? What happened? I did the training. I taught them all this. Why is everything in chaos now? I don't understand what happened. I did the work. But just like your house, this is something that takes upkeep. Sorry about that. And I forgot to bring my water over here, of course. But it takes upkeep, it takes consistency. It is not a one and done. It's the same housekeeping that happens within your center. So sometimes if we've become complacent and we haven't been doing that upkeep, it puts us in a position where we really seriously have to course correct and we have to reevaluate everything. And that is a season that I'm in right now, is just really reevaluating. For me as well, course correcting came by losing my husband. My life before a year ago to today had to change, right? I had to make some course correction. I no longer have that life partner beside me. And you can see that in so many layers, right? I mean, if you look at financially, that means that if you're in a double income family, now you're in a single income family, right? There's so many layers to that. Just being alone, period. You have to course correct. Sometimes we're forced into it. Sometimes it happens without our like just input at all, right? I mean, we're always going to be forced into it. The issue is, are you taking the action? That is where everything lies. Your future success is going to absolutely depend on your choices and the actions that you choose to take. It doesn't depend on your children and how they behave in the morning before you get them to school. It doesn't depend on your staff and how they choose to behave if they hijack your center with things like gossip and negativity. It doesn't depend on your spouse and how they show up. It depends on you and your choices and how you choose to show up. And I get sometimes we're dealing with some very toxic people, right? But there comes a point too where we have to decide, are we going to allow that toxicity to remain in our life or are we going to let it go? And if we choose to allow the toxicity to remain, then we need to take accountability for that because it is a choice. It is an absolute choice. It is a choice if you have a horrible employee that calls in, that gossips, that tells you what to do, right? I talked to one of my clients a few weeks ago, and she was telling me about how she bought a piece of furniture for her classroom and her teacher didn't like it. So they just threw it out into the hallway. And I was just like, what? Your teacher did what? First of all, how do you get yourself into that place in the first place, right? That took some time and lack of action. If your teacher thinks that they have so much power that they can take out a piece of furniture that you as the boss bought and put in there, then you've lost control of your program. If your staff thinks they can change your curriculum model, if you told them this is what we're doing and they change it or just blatantly don't do it, you've lost control of your staff. You've lost control. Absolutely. Good morning, Kimberly. You've absolutely lost control of your staff. And that's when you have to look in the mirror. That is leadership. That is not a problem with the staff. That is you. And that is a huge sign that you need to course correct. If you have multiple people calling in on, just one after another. Now, this is the beginning of the school year, so I know everybody's getting sick right now. That is okay. We also have to honor our staff's health needs, right? If you've got a staff member, I mean, we just had the stomach flu going through Zoom. I don't want them to come to work when they're sick like that. But what I'm talking about is they call and say, hey, I got an appointment today at 2:00. I'm going to need to leave at 1. That is absolutely not okay. And that is something you have allowed in your program. Or if they come to you and like, hey, I made a doctor's appointment for tomorrow. Not okay. Not okay. You have allowed that as the leader. It is not their fault. We are humans. Humans are going to push as far as we can, right? That is just human nature. The boundaries, or actually, I should say, the lack of boundaries that you have set up are basically enabling this behavior. That's what it is. It's reality. And I know as leaders, we don't always like to hear it, but it is our fault when things like that happen. It is leadership that causes this kind of dissension. If you have gossip out of control in your program, that's you as a leader. How are you dealing with it? How are you stopping it? And this doesn't mean you have to be a mean leader. I'm really nice until you really push me too far. And that's when I'm just like, done. Mm-mm. I mean, I've got my rules are very, very clear. They are all documented in writing. They are trained. My staff goes through a 30-day, very intense onboarding process and then a 6-month total onboarding process. They are very well trained. I make sure they know my policies, procedures, and my expectations. So there's no excuse. I take the excuses away from them. So if the behavior starts, I will give them a chance and have a nice talk with them. But if it continues, that's when the nice boss needs to leave. And I don't think I'm ever gonna really show up, like, totally mean, but I will take the actions I have to take, right? Because I worked really hard for my businesses, and I'm not going to let anyone's bad behavior hijack my business. So my question to you is, are you allowing your staff to hijack your childcare center? Is it time for a course correction? Is it time? Only you can choose the course correction that you're going to take. Only you can make that first step. And we would be happy to help you. I mean, I've got everything in line. It's kind of what I do. Is help with course corrections and to fix childcare centers and help establish them correctly in the first place. But it really is up to the actions you take. And I'm not saying it's easy, you guys, but I think I did a short TikTok a couple weeks ago on the subject of we trade small amounts of pain today for larger pain tomorrow, right? We're so afraid to cause this pain in ourselves and in others today, so we don't call our staff on things. When someone is blatantly insubordinate or disrespectful to you, you just let it go. You let it go because you don't want to hurt their feelings. It's just so uncomfortable to deal with it. It's so uncomfortable to confront it, right? I know. I feel a lot of pain when I have to do it. There are days where I do my job and I go in and I do the confronting and the things I need to do, and I go home and I cry. And I will cry and I will let it out. I will literally cry and I will just let it all come out because it's hard. It's hard. I know it's hard, you guys. I know. But what's even harder is living with the behaviors. That's even harder. Letting this be your life. Yes, an awkward moment feels intensely painful in that moment. But what is more painful? That awkward, intense moment or living the life you're living right now? Staying stuck here. Just staying stuck in the place that you are. Which is worse? So that's what I mean by we trade smaller pain for greater pain in the future. Because what you don't realize is a lot of these pain points that you're choosing to live with 5 years from now, you're still going to be living with them. Even if that staff member's gone, someone else is going to come and take their place. Someone else who's the same problem is going to just step into their role, and you're still going to be dealing with the same pain points. So, my challenge to you today is ask yourself where and when do you need to course correct? And make sure that you join us for our free webinar series on overwhelm. I'm going to be giving you guys some free tools today, a lot that you can start putting that course correction into action today. Give you a roadmap to actually take that first step that you need to take your control back, to take your center back. Stop letting your staff run your center. Stop letting your parents hijack your program. Don't let them steal one more day of your joy because you are allowing it. You have a choice. You have a choice. You just don't know what to do. And I get that. I was there once. I was once upon a time an owner who didn't know what to do as well. You just don't know how to take the control back. So that's part of what I want to do. And part of the reason I am doing this workshop today is to help you start to gain tools to take your power back, to take your life back. I know I was there. I remember when I was working 12-hour days at my center, I would be there from open to close every day. And then I would go in on Saturdays and clean because I couldn't afford somebody to come clean it for me. And I was miserable. I hated it. I hated it. I mean, I've told you the story about sitting in my parking lot crying and not wanting to go in. I hated it because I was allowing it all to happen to me. I wasn't taking charge of my life. I thought life happened to you. I didn't realize that you actually get to make life happen for you. So stop being a victim. Stop being a victim. I used to be a victim and I was miserable. And I will never live that life again. I will never be trapped in a victim's mentality again. So you have that choice as well. If you feel like everybody just walks all over you, like you just can't get ahead, make sure you join us, even if you have to watch the replay. We want to help you get your life back. So I hope everybody has a great rest of their week. I really hope to see you later on Zoom. If you're watching the replay, let us know that you're here. And by the way, you guys, also, you've got to listen to my most current episode of the podcast. I had the honor of interviewing Liz Huntley, who wrote the amazing book. Oh, I think I have it right here, actually. More Than a Bird. Amazing, amazing, life-changing book. I've given my staff bonuses for reading this book because it really shows why the work we do is so important. Liz is also going to be one of the keynote speakers at the Child Care Business Summit, my summit. And she literally is. If you guys start losing your motivation, like you just don't know why you do this, her book will tell you why you do this. This book tells you the power of early childhood education. It will really illustrate to you guys the after. Like I say, what we're working with right now is the before, right? The children in our centers are the before. Liz is the after. She actually shows you, and she recognizes it in her own life, how if she had not gone to a good preschool program, she would not be the person she is today. And her story is amazing. So make sure you listen to the podcast. Get your summit ticket before it's too late. This is life changing. If there's one thing you do this year, it's got to be attending the Child Care Business Summit. I've really formatted it to make sure that you can really level up as a person. I think next week, that is my topic for Mindset Monday, is if you really want to get better, you got to grow. And the Child Care Business Summit is 100% formatted to help you grow. So make sure that you listen to the podcast and you make it to the summit so you can meet amazing people like Liz and be in the room with people who have changed their lives, people who have up leveled, the type of people you want to be. Those are the kind of people you need to connect with, right? And those are the people who will be at the Child Care Business Summit. And we're making sure you have the opportunity to meet with them, talk to them. You're not going to just see people on stage talking. You're going to actually get to be with these people. I really didn't want to do another conference where you saw a bunch of talking heads and people were selling you something, or they were just, I don't know, just it's the same thing all the time in ECE, right? It's always the same thing. And I just got to a point in my life where I'm done wasting my time. After losing my husband, I realized how precious time is. And I'm not going to do the same old thing, go see the same old speakers. I want to up level my life. And that's why I'm introducing some new speakers to early childhood education who are up leveled, because we need to up level this industry. There's a reason we're not recognized as professionals. It's time for us to up level this industry, which is why I am launching the ECE revolution, why we're doing the Child Care Business Summit, why I'm bringing amazing people like Tony Childs, Ryan Dowdy, and Liz Huntley in for you guys, because these are people who are where we want to be. And they're from under other industries, but these are the kind of people that I started bringing into my ecosystem in order to level up. I was once that victim too. So I am bringing you guys those people that helped me turn into the person I am today, that helped me go from that childcare center owner and director who would go in thinking, I got to fire my entire staff. They're horrible. They're awful. Oh, why does this have to happen to me all the time? I'm done. I want to sell. To just getting my life back and realizing, no, I get to choose. I get to choose. Even after my husband dies, I get to choose my life. It doesn't happen to me. I get to choose. So if you want to have that kind of a mindset shift, make sure you get your summit ticket today. Maybe one of my team members can put the link to get the summit ticket today. And also be with us this afternoon for the childcare overcoming overwhelm. I can't even remember the but for our overwhelm series. I will see you guys in a couple hours.